Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. My name is Stuart. In today's lesson, we are looking at how we use finally, at last, in the end, and at the end in English. Let's go to the intro. Now, as I said before, today's lesson is about finally, at last, in the end, and at the end, and how we use these structures or words in English. Now, the first one we're looking at is finally. And we use finally to give a sense of impatience or that we have been waiting a long time for something and it has now arrived. Okay, that's one meaning. There's another one that we'll see in the third example, but the first meaning is that. So the sense of impatience that we've been waiting a long time for something, and as I said, it now has arrived or happened. Look at the examples. I finally managed to get a good job. I finally managed to get a good job. For many years, I didn't have a good job, but I've finally managed to get a good job. Okay, so now all of that impatience that I had for not having a good job has finished, and finally I've finally managed to get a good job. The second example is similar. After weeks of waiting, the package finally arrived. I sent off for the package weeks ago. I was waiting, and then yesterday the package finally arrived. Now, the position normally goes in between the middle of, say, the subject and the verb. Okay, the package finally arrived. I finally managed, meaning that the impatient nature that I had before has now finished. I finally managed, or the package has finally arrived. The second example here is that we're using finally after a series of events, and in this sense, finally is similar to lastly. Okay, so we had a picnic, a swim, and finally a long walk. So we did those three things. Firstly, the picnic, then the swim, finally the long walk. So the difference in meaning between this use and the use in the other two. Now the next example is at last. And at last also gives us the feeling that we have been waiting impatiently for something for a long time and the relief that the situation has finally changed. Look at the first example. The train has arrived at last. So it tells me that I've been waiting perhaps longer than I should be waiting for the train, and then finally or at last, similar meanings, the train has arrived. So the train has arrived at last. I'm relieved. The second example, you're here at last. What took you so long? So I've been waiting a long time for this person to arrive, and then at last they're here. Okay, so the impatience that I had for wanting this person to arrive because I've been waiting for them has finished, and I use the expression here, at last. You are here at last. What took you so long? Okay. Now the third one is in the end. In the end also has two different meanings. I'm going to try to explain both of them here now through the examples. The first example of in the end, I was going to go to bed, but in the end I stayed up. So in this example, it means that I've changed my idea, or I've changed something that I had planned. So my idea was to go to bed early, but in the end, I stayed up. So I changed something perhaps unexpectedly. I changed my mind and I decided to stay up a little bit later, perhaps to watch a movie. And the second example, where did you guys decide to go in the end? Where did you guys decide to go in the end? Now, I knew that these friends of mine were planning a holiday, but they were undecided about where they were going to go. They wanted to go maybe to France or to Italy or to Spain. They were undecided. and I lost contact with them for a little while. So when I see them again, I would say, so where did you guys decide to go in the end? Okay. And the third example here, the meaning changes a little bit. In the end, it's better to work days than nights. I've come to the conclusion through experience that in the end, it's better to work days than nights. Better for the family, better for my quality of life, better for my general well-being. So we use in the end here like that. So in the end, it's better to work days than nights. Okay, I've come to that conclusion. And the last example is at the end. Now, at the end means nothing more than showing a position, okay? A position of where an object is. So, for example, there's a white house at the end of the street. At the end of the street, there's a white house, okay? At the end of the movie, the credits normally roll down, okay? There is an expression which is at the end of the day, which is an idiom. At the end of the day, it's better to run than swim, for example, at the end of the day. But we use that differently. But at the end on its own only means the position of an object. And the example, there's a white house at the end rather than in the middle or at the beginning. There's a white house at the end of the street. Now, thank you very much for watching. My name is Stuart. Remember to leave a comment below if you have one. I like to receive comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Remember also to share on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, if you like the lesson. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good day.